Paul Evans here with Paul's Performance, and today we're going to be working on this 2001 Volkswagen Jetta TDI. As of right now, it has a no start condition, so we're going to try and figure out what the deal is. We have previous codes of glow plug codes in it. It's starting to get cold and going into the winter time, so I believe that's probably the issue. We're going to hook it up to my scanner here in just a second, figure out what codes we got, and we're going to go ahead and put some glow plugs. We have a glow plug harness and new glow plugs to go in it, because this car hasn't seen any new ones since my camera guy that bought the car. So we're going to get those swapped out and hopefully get it back running. So let's get to the computer. Alright, so now we're inside the car. I have my Bosch OTC scan tool. A little bit overkill for this process. You could just go get it scanned at Advance or get you a little code reader. I just so happen to have this $4,000 scan tool. So we're gonna hook up and see what kind of codes we got. So let's get to it. Need some engine, my key on, and we have one code. So you want to get a zoom in on the code we have. It is a glow plug heater circuit malfunction. That is our only code that we have, so hopefully that's going to be our only issue. We're going to get the new glow plug harness, new glow plugs installed here in just a second, and hopefully get it started back up. So let's get to it. When it comes to anything that I get for my Volkswagen, and like I said, I tell other people I'm not sponsored by them, but I get a lot of my parts from ID Parts. This kit comes from ID Parts. It's a glow plug kit. It comes with, you have different options, but we went with the factory Volkswagen harness and the Bosch, OE glow plugs. They have different options on their website you can get. Any of them is probably fine. I always try to stick to OEM on my personal Volkswagen, and for other people I tell them it's best to stick with OE. But if you want the same kit we got, you can get it from ID Parts. So check them out. Alright, so here we are under the hood. We're going to start tear down of the engine cover and trying to get to the glow plugs. Your first step in pretty much any repair is to disconnect the battery, at least the negative. For this one right here, it has a 1/2-inch nut to get the negative off. I think somebody's changed it, and then a 10mm to get the positive off. Then after that, you'll have to get the engine cover off, which should be 3 10mm. This car only has 2, which is fine, but we'll go ahead and get that off too. That way we can see the glow plug harness and glow plug. So we got the battery disconnected and we have the engine cover off. So now we actually have visual access to the glow plugs. They're going in right here into the front, right by the injectors. And if you come in closely and get Samuel to come in, you can see how horrible this harness looks. It's really cracked up and brittle. This one's broken right here, but it's very, very old and brittle. So it's starting to come apart, which is probably the reason we're having some issues with it. Is this harness. That's usually what will give you glow plug issues on these cars. So we're gonna get that harness taken off, get the new one put in, and if you look right here, this is actually on these earlier models. They connect right here with 2 little spade connectors. If you have a later model, I think it's the 02, 03, which is what I have, you'll actually have a harness plug. But for these, you just, as you can see, it's heat shrink with little spade connectors that'll come in right here and connect. So we'll have to connect those, and then like I said, we'll take out these glow plugs one by one and swap those out. All you'll need is a 10 millimeter, about the equivalent of changing out spark plugs. If you've never done it, you need to make sure that you torque them to spec. If you do it a lot, you may have a feel, but I always tell people torque to spec, and you won't go wrong with that. So we're gonna get this harness out, and we're gonna change out all 4 glow plugs, and then we should be done. So let's get that done. Alright, so it seems we have ran into a slight issue, not that big a deal, but it looks like someone's already changed this harness before. It's obviously been a while, because I mean, look at the harness. Here's what it's supposed to look like, and here's what it looks like, the one on it. But it looks like someone's already changed this harness out. As you can see, it's got heat shrink and a butt connector installed. No problem, I mean, it works. But if you look at the factory, this is a Volkswagen OEM connector. It has these spade connectors and pins that would actually go inside a factory connector to connect to the other side. It doesn't just butt connect in. So we're not going to be able to use this unless we have the connector. So we're going to probably do the same install using some butt connectors or maybe some spade connectors. But like I said, nothing wrong with this style, but we're not going to be able to use this factory connector, unfortunately. Alright, so we got the harness out, and we're about to just swap out these glow plugs. We got 4 brand new Bosch glow plugs. If you get a closer look at what they look like, I mean, they're kind of spark plug looking things, but little baby glow plugs. And there's 4 of them. One goes down into each cylinder. They're right here, right beside each injector. They're a 10 millimeter. I have an extendo super long snap-on socket. This is unnecessary, but I mean, why not? So we're gonna get these all hopefully broken loose with no issues. And if you have a really dirty engine bay, you have some compressed air, you might want to, get you some brake clean and kind of spray out all around this area. That way nothing falls down into your cylinder bore, because that's where these go to, is straight down to your cylinder. So you want to make sure it's nice and clean around it. There's nothing that's going to fall down in there. So I'm going to get this one, first one, pulled out. And there's one glow plug. Got it pulled out, looks nice and old and dirty, just like it should be. We're gonna drop the new one right in. Swap it to on. And we're gonna tighten her back up. And this is where I say you need to get that old torque wrench out and get these torqued. Like I said, if you've been working on cars for 575 years, you can probably do that without a torque wrench. I mean, a lot of people do glow plugs and spark plugs without a torque wrench, which is fine. I mean, like I said, it's you that's on the side of the road. But if you've never done this before, use a torque wrench, look up the torque specs, go get you a torque wrench, torque them. That way you don't have to worry about them. All you mechanics out there, do what you do you. So, like I said, we're gonna get these 4 changed out the same way, all 4 of them out, new ones installed, and then we're gonna jump back on getting this harness installed. We're gonna have to go get some heat shrink and some connectors, since this has been butt connected, and that way we can get this connected at least halfway decent, or at least the same way it was, and then hopefully we'll be just about finished up. All right, so we got 4 new glow plugs in. We got the harness spliced in. We ended up doing a butt connect with some heat shrink, just like the previous person had installed, since they had cut the factory off, so we just put butt connects in. It's got 2 wires going to it. It doesn't really matter which wire you go to. They're both power wires, and one wire powers 2, the other powers the other 2 glow plugs, so it really doesn't matter which one. That's why they're the same color. But if you look here, like I said, we got our new harness installed. You see we got our butt connects heat shrinked up. I like using the heat shrink with the glue inside. That seals it up really nice. But like I said, we got it all installed. Now we're going to put our battery back on. Before we put the engine cover back on, we're going to hook our battery up, and we're going to test for codes and see if the car will start. Alright, so we got the harness installed. We ended up using a butt connect with heat shrink, just like the previous harness was installed, since the factory harness was cut off. So I'm going to just show you real quick what we did. We didn't get it on video, so I'm going to just show you the connectors that we used. So if you come right in close, this right here is what come on the factory harness. So we snipped that off. I was thinking about doing a connector like this and getting everything kind of sealed up nicely, but I just ended up doing this. So we cut this connector off, and we cut the old harness connector off, stripped both wires. Any strippers will work. This is the ones we have. And using this butt connecting the wires together, and then this is just a little piece, but put heat shrink over top of that. This heat shrink actually has a glue on the inside of it, so when it shrinks up, this glue will kind of ooze out and seal up the connector a lot better. And that's all we did to connect the glow plug harness. There's a lot of ways you can do it. If you got the factory harness, you can do the factory pins. That's great. If you don't, you can use butt connects. If you want to, you can get you a little spade connector, waterproof connector, whatever you want. There's many ways to do this. The way we did it was just butt connects. So, all right, so we're back inside the car. Before we try and start it up, I wanted to see if the code was still here or whether or not we needed to look elsewhere. I just hooked up to it, cleared the codes, and the code does not come back. As you can see, no diagnostic trouble codes. So it looks like we have fixed our issue with the glow plug harness. We got the glow plug malfunction light to clear, so we have no codes, and the glow plug assembly and harnessing and operation should be back to normal. Unfortunately for this car, it looks like we're going to have other issues. Today is a lot warmer day, and we still couldn't get it started. So I believe it's going to have a fuel issue that we're going to have to track down. So we're going to look at that probably in another video. But like I said, the glow plug harness is fixed, and that's how you can swap it out on this ALH 2001 Jetta. So like I said, like and subscribe, and see y'all next time.